So, as many of you guys may know, Kamala Harris, Senator Kamala Harris of California, did not do very well in her last debate performance. She pretty much tanked it as badly as she could. I covered one of the exchanges that she had with the debate moderators, responding to a question about free trade, and she basically flubbed it terribly. Said how she doesn't disagree with President Obama's approach on TPP, and it's perfectly fine. And then she goes on a random TED Talk, centrist TED Talk rant about Donald Trump being like a small guy from Wizard of Oz. I mean, it was like the most absurd thing. So anyway, regardless of what kind of rhetoric and stuff she put out there, the donors out there, essentially the people that are funding her campaign, filling up her campaign coffers, were expecting her to make a big splash and, possibly get back into the race again because she's not doing very well in the polls. And she basically missed her opportunity. She swinged and missed on that one big time. So I just wanted to cover this article here that talks about how she's actually receiving less donor support now, and she's getting people to not want to donate to her. So let's see here. So this article is from CNBC.com, and it's titled "Kamala Harris's Debate Performance Fails to Sway Big Money Donors." So let's get into the body here. It says Senator Kamala Harris's debate performance on Thursday failed to impress many of her party's big money donors who were on the fence about her candidacy. Going into the Democratic primary debate in Houston, Harris's closest supporters privately acknowledged that if the senator from California did not come out swinging against her opponents and clearly define her policies, wealthy donors could shy away from her campaign. Many of them were hoping for a repeat of the aggressive tactics she used in the first debate, when she took on former Vice President Joe Biden for his willingness to vote with segregationists as a senator in the 1970s. And that's true. She actually did really, really well. I said that myself too. I think pretty much anybody that was watching said that. And there was articles that were coming out fawning over, oh my gosh, she did so wonderful. She did so great. So the media they loved it. The supporters loved it. I think a good chunk of people out there were worried that she was going to gain some sort of traction, but as many of you know, after Tulsi Gabbard fucking destroyed her and called her out for her shitty prosecutorial record during her time as Attorney General and District Attorney of San Francisco, she's been in a downfall since. Continuing on here, it says, now these sources say that those uncommitted contributors are still not convinced they can dedicate their expansive networks to her cause alone. Harris has relied on contributors willing to give her up to $2,800, the maximum amount allowable by law, in order to finance her presidential run. Since the start of her campaign in January, Harris has raised over $14 million. Wow. From large individual contributors, according to the Nonpartisan Center for Responsive Politics. That total equals 56% of her $24 million haul. She finished raising almost $12 million in the second quarter. At least 45% of Harris's contributions have hailed from the Golden State, so from California. That is a hell of a lot of money, man. Talk about a waste. You might as well just have thrown money down the fucking toilet. Anyway, so it says, while a spokesperson for the campaign did not respond to a request for comment, Harris sent a mass email Friday morning saying her moments on the debate stage, quote, won over a lot of new supporters in this fight. And that the organization is, quote, focusing our resources on capturing last night's momentum. What momentum? You didn't capture any momentum. What are you talking about? One source close to a political fundraising powerhouse in California, Harris's home state and a region where she's dominated in the fundraising game, said Friday that they had been having trouble persuading their donors to back her candidacy before the debate. The negative opinion didn't change after the debate. Oh my God, I'm enjoying this so much. I don't think anything has changed, and it's been grim, this person said. Donors believe that on the debate stage, Harris is still, quote, unclear about her message and strategy. Yeah, no kidding. This person said, they liked the Trump focus, the person said, but there was too much odd laughter and candlelights. That's so true. That's something that Kyle Klinsky was mentioning as well. She was just going on these like weird like rants and just like talking about like mentioning like this weird, saying these like weird one-liners. At one point she responded to Joe Biden saying something by saying like, yes we can, or something. Like she was obviously repeating like Obama's famous saying and shit, and then like pretending as if she like loves Obama. I mean, she already did that, as I highlighted in the segment I did on my last episode. She's, you know, talking about how she doesn't disagree with Obama on the Trans-Pacific Partnership. So she totally loves Obama, loves his trade deals, loves his policies. Continues on here saying, this person added that most of their donors want to help former Vice President Joe Biden, Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, or Mayor Pete Buttigieg of South Bend, Indiana. Still, a New York banking executive who privately called on her to prove she's the best alternative to Biden said on Friday that she didn't stand out against the 9 other contenders and played it too safe. Quoting them here, it says, you need to get into these debates and score some points or there's not going to be any money for her. God forbid you can't get money from regular people. You got to get it from these fucking assholes. She didn't score any points. Another bundler in Los Angeles who has contributed to her campaign but has yet to open his network to the California lawmaker said he feels as if Harris doesn't have any direction as a candidate. She's now tacked back and self-corrected, this contributor said. Now it looks like she's been schooled and directionless. Yeah, by Tulsi Gabbard, of course. Okay, so this part is weird because they say the complete opposite than what the rest of the people in the article are saying. It says Harris is preparing to take part in a fundraising tour that starts in Houston and will finish on the West Coast. Her loyal financial supporters don't seem to be going anywhere in the aftermath of the debate, even though some of their colleagues are currently not willing to jump on her bandwagon. Check this part out. It says, Harris is crushing it, said a wealthy New York donor who is helping her campaign and helped raise millions for former President Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. Yeah, I'm sure that person is totally, you know, in touch with how campaigns should be won. Presidential campaigns should be won. So yeah, I mean, it's like I said before, I am absolutely enjoying Kamala Harris's downfall in this primary, and I only say that because so many people, like I said before, so many people had high hopes for her doing so great and doing so wonderful. Oh, she's gonna kick ass. She's a woman of color, and she's totally I said this on my last show. Because she's a prosecutor, she's really, really strong, and she can take on Trump. You know, and they have like this stupid hashtag for her. It's called the K-Hive, Khive. It's so fucking lame. And these people, like, every time I see them, I want to be like, yeah, how's the K-Hive going? You know, how's the K-Hive looking, huh? I mean, she's in a downward spiral, and she's just so. I don't want to say she's she's not like an Amy Klobuchar, like a 90s campaign, 90s style politician, that kind of thing. I don't want to go that far because she's not that much, but she's like this type that wants to she is like similar to Klobuchar in the sense that she wants to be like edgy, so she's like faux edgy, and she wants to go out there and pretend like, oh yeah, I can come up with these funny one-liners that millennials and young people are totally going to relate to, and then she goes out there and just says these like cheesy lines, and then she thinks it's going to like totally register with people. So instead of going out there and just putting out policies, so like Bernie Sanders does, so he says, hey, listen, I'm for Medicare for all. I want to help regular people. I want to I want to instill a affordable college, free college plan. I want to get rid of medical debt. I want to raise the minimum wage, give you a living wage. That's what Bernie Sanders does. He's all about policy. But what Kamala Harris does, she just puts out these stupid one-liners and just totally substanceless rhetoric that just doesn't relate to anybody, doesn't get anybody excited for anything. It's just so. It's like you are scraping the bottom of the bullshit barrel. Not even so much bullshit, just like nothing barrel. There's just nothing there. Just empty. It's like it's scraping the bottom of an empty barrel that's just not. You're not getting anything. You're not getting it right. Nobody is like catching on to this and being like, yeah, totally, Kamala Harris. And honestly, if you ask Kamala Harris's supporters why they support her, they're honestly, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I've probably seen them a couple times, but I don't remember exactly what they've said. But if you were to ask me, and I would tell you what I think they would say, yeah, Kamala Harris is a woman. She's a woman of color. She's an attorney. She's really, she's really strong, and she gives good, gives good speeches, and she sounds really inspirational, and she, she's a young woman. I don't know. She's a Democrat. It's just like all this stuff has nothing to do with policy. Literally, because why it has nothing to do with policy? Because she doesn't stand for anything. Kamala Harris doesn't know what she believes. All she knows that she believes is that I'm a Democrat and I support whatever the Democrats do. So if the Democrats push for a border wall, I'm in favor of the border wall. But I'm not in favor of the same border wall that Trump wants, because I don't want kids to be in cages. That's another thing the Democrats say. They don't want to keep kids in cages. That's the position they want, even though they're still in cages, and they don't even put protections for the immigrants that are being detained and the kids that are being kept in cages. So they obviously don't care, but they claim to. So it's just a rhetoric. It's not the actual policy. So it's all about rhetoric for these people. Oh yeah, I support universal health care, even though I'm in favor of a public option, because I don't want to take private insurance away from people. I want people to have the option. Which is obviously an absurd talking point. I can't. I don't believe in. I don't believe in a debt-free college plan, because I don't want rich kids to be getting rid of their college debt. What? The rich people are the people that can afford college. The rich people that are going to Ivy League schools are not going to be getting their debt cleaned out. Are not going to be getting their debt they're not going to be rid of their debt. It's the people that are struggling, that are being crushed by hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt, and they're it's milking their fucking funds, their bank accounts, because they can't afford it, and that's because of the fucking people that lend them these loans, and then they end up screwing them over with high interest rates and everything. Those are the people that are getting screwed over. My point is that Kamala Harris doesn't stand for anything. She doesn't believe in anything. She just believes in whatever the Democratic Party wants. And anything that Bernie Sanders is putting out there, she just believes in some partial form of it, or she claims to, and then she co-ops it as her own and then adds small changes to it, or not even really small changes. She pretends they're small changes, but they're really actually significant changes. And then she says, oh, look, it's the same thing as Bernie, though. It's totally the same thing as Bernie's, but it's better because, I don't know, because I said so. Or something, but they don't get into the details, because if they get into the details, especially when it comes to the idea of a public option and, allowing people to keep their private insurers and stuff, which is just basically makes more money for the private insurers, but the private insurance companies. Yeah. But when it comes, she just believes in just grifting off of progressives and progressive ideas, and then not offering any kind of solution that's unique or different, and she desperately wants to be president. She desperately wants to be the nominee. She desperately wants to take on Trump, because she wants to be like Hillary Clinton. She has this ego that she wants to, because she's even said, oh, I'm a top tier candidate, and the people that attack me are, they're not top tier candidates, so they want to take my place, referring to Tulsi Gabbard essentially. And she desperately wants to be president, because she wants to be the next Hillary Clinton, because she wants to go out there and she wants to be this standard bearer for, oh, I'm a strong woman that takes on this sexist asshole, that's a sexist white man that hates women, blah blah blah. I'm not denying that that's the case, but I mean, that's not a rallying cry for anybody. You know what I'm saying? That's only a rallying cry among like the third wave feminists and the faux feminists out there that don't actually care about any real issues, just getting a woman in there that's going to continue doing the status quo and continue keeping the system the way it is and not changing anything. But she's a strong woman. Yeah, that's very very inspiring. We need a woman in there that's going to keep things the same and keep fucking over regular people while doing it in a very womanly and feminist way. That's what Kamala Harris is, and ultimately she. If she ends up becoming the nominee, which she's not, at this point I don't see her going anywhere. Even when the donors are already realizing, it's fucking, she's in trouble. If the donors are already jumping ship, that's a fucking problem. Let alone the voters. The voters are always going to stay around because they're just sycophants and they love her because they just, they love the personality and they're probably more emotionally attached to that person. But when it comes to the donors, they know, they're like, shit, that doesn't look too good. This person is they're not putting my money, they're not putting my millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars to good use. So I don't know if I can support this person. They all care about the money. They don't care about the policies. They just care about the person that's going to help them get what they want. Just like I mentioned in the article about, that was written by Ed Rendell, that was calling out Elizabeth Warren for her hypocrisy on big money. He was talking about, oh no, people that give money to the politicians totally care about the regular issues, and they think this person will be a wonderful leader, blah blah blah. No, that's absolute bullshit. These donors that give money to these politicians want favors. If you actually think that that's not, like, if you actually think these people are like authentic and they're just like, oh, they totally support this person for like the wonderful policies that they push. No, they want to get favors. And I'm not saying they don't support their policies, but I'm saying they support the policies that benefit them the most, the super rich. It doesn't benefit regular people. Fuck the regular people, because those people are going to want, higher taxes on the rich. They're going to want better healthcare, affordable healthcare. They're going to want, to get rid of the student loan debt crisis. They want to get rid of the influence of the role of the fossil fuel industry, big oil and stuff that's contributing to climate change and global warming. That's the thing that regular people are focusing on, which is why they donate to people like Bernie Sanders and other progressives out there. That's why they like him, not somebody like Kamala Harris or Elizabeth Warren who are going to continue that system. The people that are going to go out there and continue what's going on and just keep doing the same old shit, do the same old fucking dance, Bernie Sanders is not about that, but Kamala Harris, she's definitely about that. And even though she's all up the ass of the, super rich donors and super rich, whatever, celebrity fundraisers, doing celebrity fundraisers, the people that do celebrity fundraisers for her and stuff, even though she's all in that shit, she's still not getting enough support for the people that truly believe in her, because she's a phony. She's a nobody. She's basically an empty suit. And at the end of the day, she doesn't really have anything of substance to offer. She doesn't have any kind of inspirational message to put out there. So aside from what the K-Hive believes, Kamala Harris is pretty much done. So you better get ready to get your girl out of the running, because she's done and over with.